If you're out and about in Monaco, you're bound to bump into one particular lady, Dani Carew. Hi Dani, nice to see you. Now I've known you for about 3 years, and ever since I met you, I've known about a book that you're writing called Redefining Amber. So how did you actually come to start to write this book? I mean, is it a case of, okay, I'm going to start writing a book today? How did you come about?
Well, I have quite a number of girlfriends who have gone through traumatic experiences of their husbands dumping them, leaving them. And I just wanted to encourage women that there was life beyond divorce. Because a lot of my friends sort of just gave up. They lost themselves after the divorce. And I just wanted to tell them that you can still do something else. You're more than just your marriage.
And did you have to research for the characters that feature in your book?
Well, the defining moment came one day when I have to say I wasn't present. And I was walking down the road and I had a girlfriend coming towards me, and we were sort of coming in opposite directions. And we finally met up, and when we met up in front of a car showroom. And to speak to each other, she had her back to the showroom, I had my back to the street, and I was facing the showroom. And I said, oh, hi, how are you? How is Jack, Jim, whatever her husband's name was? And she said something to the effect of, he has upgraded for a more recent model. And I said, really? What did he get? I was looking at the Aston Martins and the Jaguars, and oh my gosh, I had put my foot right in it. She said, his secretary, she's 29 years old, and burst into tears. And we went across the road to a little cafe and had a coffee, and I tried to sort of comfort her. I said, well, that's great. Now you can take up all your hobbies, you can play golf, you can travel. And she was just so distraught. And when we finally parted, I thought, you know what? I really have to do something to encourage women that they're not just their father's daughter, they're not just their husband's wives, they're not just their children's moms. They are, I am.
A person in their own right.
Exactly,
in fact. And the title, Redefining Amber, it sounds self-explanatory, is that she does reinvent herself, doesn't she?
She does.
Tell us more about that.
Well, of course, it's quite a shock for her after 13 years of marriage. Her husband just tells her he wants a divorce, and she doesn't even realize that her marriage is over, and she's got to live with this. She goes through a whole lot of emotions. She is unhappy, and then she's lonely, and then she's fearful of life on her own after 13 years. And the emotion that really gets her going is anger. She finally realizes that for 13 years he was important to her. She had done everything to be a good wife, and he had just discarded her like a soiled Kleenex.
But she does become a much stronger individual in her own right, doesn't she, as a result of this horrible situation, which nobody ever envies, does they really?
Well, it's because sometimes what you think is the worst thing that can happen to you turns out to be a blessing.
But are there any other messages? I mean, you talk about this strength that you can find through these situations. Are there any other messages?
Well, I would like to say that you can survive and triumph in the face of adversity, because adversity is something that we all go through. And I think if you know someone who hasn't gone through any adversity, keep away from them, because it's coming. I mean, you can either lose a child, lose a loved one, lose your job, lose all of your money, like some of the people recently did with the Madoff experience, lose your health. These are all adversities that you have to go through. And it's not just a question of having the adversity, because we will all go through adversity, but it's how you react to it. You can say, what can I learn from this experience? how can I get through this experience? Who do I know who can help me, guide me through this experience? Or you could say, oh my God, look what's happened to me, and give up. And Amber didn't. She decided to.
Referring to Monaco, and you said that you'd come across this one particular lady who'd gone through that sort of experience of feeling absolutely distraught and alone. Did you come across quite a lot of women, or do you come across quite a lot of women here in Monaco?
Well, not specifically in Monaco, but I mean, it's everywhere. I've lived in Holland, Belgium, Germany, France, the UK even, and I know a lot of people who have gone through this. Yeah.
So it's a sort of book, because it's not set anywhere, is it, in particular?
No, because I want the women who read this, or the men who read this, to be able to identify with it. I didn't situate it in any specific country, because it could happen anywhere. It's something that happens to anyone. I did put a part of it in Venice, but for the rest of it, people can identify with it.
You touch on men there. Is this a book, and I think it's I think because it's got that Mediterranean look about it on that, I must just show the book there. Do you think a man could comfortably read Redefining Amber?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This wasn't written only for women. It was written for anyone who goes through a stressful moment. And I mean, I do know at least one particular man whose wife has left him, and he has the 2 children, and he has to get on with it.
So the scenario is still the same?
Absolutely, yes, it can happen to anyone.
So it's really going to touch a nerve, isn't it, this book? It will touch a lot of people's conscience.
It's because I have, as I said, I have a lot of friends, you know, people I know, women I know, and they all say, you know, this has happened to us. A lot of women, another thing, a lot of women are ashamed when their husbands leave them, because they feel that it was their fault, they didn't do something right, why, you know, they didn't live up to his expectations. And a lot of women don't want to talk about it. And people don't, this is a subject that is not always broached. So I thought I would bring it out into the open.
If you were to be able to make this book into the film, because you've got the 2 characters, Amber Winwood, she's the 42-year-old,
right,
and she meets this new love, Paul Mandicourt.
Right.
If you had the opportunity of making this book into a film, who would you cast as these 2 main roles?
Oh my gosh, that is a difficult question. I do look at a lot of movies, not because I just like looking at movies. I like to see how other people's minds work, so I like to see the stories that they tell. And there's one actress I like very much. I'd like, if she, you know, I didn't write the book with her in mind at all, but as you're asking the question, yes, I think Charlize Theron would be a good Amber.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
And it's Paul?
Paul, I saw a movie some time ago called The Horse Whisperer, and I think Sam Neill. Yes, I think Sam Neill.
I can see the couple together already.
Yeah, yes.
Well, now that this book has come out, have you got any plans to write another book?
I'm already writing my second one. The title is From Nowhere to Here, and I'm hoping to bring out a book for children shortly, and it's to tell children not to abandon your dreams.
You're quite a passionate lady, so what would your ultimate dream be, Dani?
To do something that is almost impossible for most people that I talk to be present. Because really, the only time we ever have is now, is this minute. And we should, all of us, appreciate the moment that you're living in, the present moment. So yes, I'd like to be able to be present. Always, remember to be present, yes.
That's fantastic. Living with the present, but looking forward to the future.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dani. That's been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.